Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Learning Key Signatures. This is part 4. We're going to be focusing on the order of sharps, and we're going to use that to help us create our own key signatures. When you've been studying your music and playing your scales, did you notice a pattern with the sharps that show up? The 3 sharps on the left actually are identical to the 3 sharps on the right, even though the key signature on the right has more sharps than the key signature on the left. The good news is the order that the sharps go in will always be the same. It doesn't matter if you're reading treble clef or bass clef. It doesn't matter if it's 1 or 7 sharps. It doesn't matter the style of the music. The sharps always go in the same order. What order is that? F, C, G, D, A, E, B. If you would like to, now would be a good time to pause the video and take a second to memorize that. Here are the rules when we're creating key signatures that have sharps in them. The order is always read from left to right, which I acknowledge can be confusing because when we're talking about our staff lines, we read from the bottom up, but that's not how it goes with key signatures. The center of the sharp sign, which is the thing that looks like a hashtag or a pound sign or a number sign, it's a sharp. The center of it needs to go on the center of the line or the center of the space that it represents. The key signature is found at the beginning of the song, and it lasts for the entire song unless it's interrupted by a different key signature or an accidental. The sharps apply to notes in all of the octaves. Well, what does that mean? If the key signature says something like F sharp, that means all Fs in the entire piece of music are going to be sharp regardless of if it's low or middle or high F. They will all be F sharp. Let's talk about a side note. This is an example of an accidental overriding a key signature. The key signature says F sharp and C sharp. But measure 3 asks us to play a D sharp. That means all Ds after that accidental would be sharp for only that measure. After that measure ends, we go back to reading the key signature instead of that one accidental. Here are some examples of key signatures that are correct and incorrect. The key signature on the left is perfect. The key signature on the right has the same sharps as the key signature on the left, except they're in the wrong order. We see that it's F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, and D sharp, which again are all of the same letters as on the right, except they're in the wrong order. It says C sharp, D sharp, F sharp, and G sharp, and that's not correct. The center of the sharp needs to be in the center of the line or space that it's supposed to represent. Key signature on the left is correct, but the key signature on the right has some problems. The third sharp is not clear whether it is supposed to be on the line or in the space above it. We don't know if that is supposed to be a G sharp or an F sharp. The first sharp on the right also has struggle being clear with what we're supposed to have. We can't tell if that is supposed to be an E sharp or an F sharp because it's not centered very well. And oh my goodness, I don't know what's going on with that second sharp. It's crooked, it's in the wrong place, and it's incredibly unclear. The sharps, as stated before, have to be in the correct octave. The treble clef readers have a little bit of a difficult time with F sharp and G sharp and trying to determine where they're supposed to be written. The one on the left is correct. The one on the right is incorrect. Even though all of those sharps say the same letters, they do have to be written properly. you might want to take a second and memorize which is the correct octave to put these sharps in. For my bass clef readers, the key signature on the left is correct and the key signature on the right is incorrect, but I've got a shortcut for you. When it comes to writing sharps in the bass clef, you can just put it in the line or space that is the closest to the middle. There are no weird exceptions like the treble clef had earlier. When deciding to put it as low A sharp or high A sharp, you can just ask yourself, well, which one's closer to the middle? And the answer is low A sharp. Please take a moment to memorize. If you're having a hard time memorizing these 7 random letters, maybe you can come up with a mnemonic device. The device that I use is fat cats go down alleys eating birds. FCGDAEB. If you want to, you can come up with your own mnemonic device, something sillier perhaps, like Father Charles goes down and ends battle. You can use whatever mnemonic device you want as long as you memorize the correct order. Let's practice. First sharp is always F sharp. If we have 2 sharps, fat cats, F sharp, C sharp. If we have 3 sharps, fat cats go, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp. What if we have 4 sharps? Fat cats go down, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp. If we have 5 sharps, F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, A sharp, or fat cats go down alleys. 6 sharps, fat cats go down alleys eating, so F, C, G, D, A, E, and all of those letters will be sharp. In the 7th example, we have all of the sharps. Fat cats go down alleys eating birds. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we just did. As a music reader, what benefit is there to having the order of sharps memorized instead of having to look at every single line in every single space and figure that out? How can you use the order of sharps if you're not the one reading the music? Can you use this key signature skill to create something? I find it best to practice actually drawing all 7 sharps on a scrap piece of paper. Then come back to this video and make sure that you've drawn them all correctly. If you did, great, you've mastered the skill. Lastly, did you notice a relationship between the order of sharps and the order of flats? I challenge you, like a riddle, to see if you can figure out what's special about the order of sharps versus the order of flats. Maybe it'll be easy for you to solve that riddle if you draw them out. Congratulations! Hopefully you've memorized all of the sharps in order. Thank you very much for joining us, and I hope that you have a fabulous day.